Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of Living Purposely on Purpose. I am so happy that you guys have thought to join us today. I have an amazing young lady, and I met her online. And since I spoke to her that very first time, I have been hooked on watching her stories. I've been hooked on watching everything that she puts out. She's so authentic. She is so real that I can't wait for you guys to hear her story. So let me just give you a short introduction of Miss Stefanie Julia. She is a business growth strategist for coaches who want to attract and enroll clients consistently and on autopilot. Through profitable passion and purpose, she helps entrepreneurs escape burnout by building automated client attraction systems. Can I tell you, I need this? Yes. She's also the mastermind behind Catch Flights and Fitness, a top rated fitness coaching program for avid and aspiring travelers. Stefanie also built a six-figure business while working full time in a demanding 24/7 federal law enforcement career, giving her a unique edge in the coaching space, especially for those still balancing a career and other lifestyle. Through her business, profitable passion and purpose, she empowers entrepreneurs to launch, grow, and scale without sacrificing their freedom, wealth, or being or well-being. So I just want to bring her on right now so she can tell us some more about her amazing journey.
Hi. Hi, Coach Lynn.
Hi, Miss Stephanie. I am so happy. I was reading that intro and I said, oh, there was some stuff here that I didn't even know.
I will say, I bet I could guess which one it was.
You know, let me
Yeah,
see if you can really guess it. Which one?
the federal law enforcement career.
Did
Everybody
not see
was
that.
like, what?
I did not see that coming. I was like, the energy that you give off is so feminine, so like cuddly. Can I say cuddly? Can that be a word?
That's fine. I love it.
Yeah. No, but when I think of federal enforcement, law enforcement, I don't see you. I don't see
I didn't
you.
see me either. That's why I had to go. It wasn't it it felt like identity fraud or something. Like I struggled a lot because I didn't tell anybody. You don't even, I was single. I don't, go to a bar, meet somebody and talk about what, the first thing they ask, so what do you do? And you're like, I used to tell people I was a teacher because I was a teacher at one point. I told people I was a financial analyst because I did money laundering investigations. But it was like you're meeting these people and you're constantly lying, so it didn't feel good.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. And we can't even attract what we really want when we're in a space when we're not being authentic. So I get that.
Yes, and
Yeah.
it is interesting that that was part of your what you said about me. It's something that I strive to be as authentic as possible, even sharing stories that, everybody says don't bleed on people, wait till you're fully healed. And sometimes I can't wait to share my story because even if I'm still healing from it, I know that it's going to help someone.
That's right. And there's healing and sharing as well. When I
Mm,
went through my
yes.
cancer journey, I didn't wait to be finished with the healing. I started sharing the as soon as I had processed it
Mhm,
myself. Then
mhm.
I started sharing because I knew that there was someone out there that felt like I did when I first got diagnosed.
Mhm.
So
Yes,
yeah. So
agree.
I know on one of our you've been very public about, your life on social media. That's the
Mhm.
authenticity that I see when I look into your stories and I see what you're doing, and I know you just had a little girl. How old is your daughter now?
She'll be 8 months on Saturday.
Wow. 8 months already?
Mhm. It's wild, right? Like I feel like, I mean, I still remember the day that I had her. Like it was, like I could feel everything. Like I can see everything. It's very eerie, but looking back at the pictures, it almost seems wild that she used to be that small.
Wow. I remember my son. My son is 22 years old now, and I still I still remember when he was that small, and sometimes I wish I could bring him back to being that small because it goes by so quickly, you
It,
know?
it's flying by for sure.
So I know your daughter has made a huge impact on your life, based on some of the stuff that you've shared, as well as things that we have spoken about when we met prior to you coming on. So, can you share how that impacted how you show up in your relationships and your business? Like, how has she impacted you in these areas, having her?
Do you know what I had? So when I was doing my devotional this morning, I realized something that I have to share with to answer that question. The way she's impact, like her being here, has made me more. Well, actually, okay, I'm gonna answer this two ways, if you don't mind.
Of
First,
course.
with my clients, I kind of feel guilty a bit about how I used to coach moms in the past. Not that I would be over, demanding, like I'm just not that type of coach, but I definitely am. I don't think I was as understanding as I am now, like how much mental space it takes to run a business and be a mom. And, thankfully now I don't have a 9 to 5 to think about, but when I can't imagine the moms out there that are working the 9 to 5 have a business that they're running and they still have to be a mom, and goodness gracious, the ones that also have to still be a wife, right? There's just all these different hats. So I'm in her being here has afforded me a level of understanding that I didn't know I needed in order to be a more effective coach. And then also what it's done for me and my business and my like vision. Obviously, it shifted a lot of things, but it didn't shift the vision that I saw. And I was very intentional about, like, is that gone? Praying whether or not, is there, it was what I saw before no longer mine? Like, is there another one that you want me to have? Like, I've been very aggressive, I can say. I'll say assertive, I'll be nicer to myself. I was very assertive to make sure the vision that I was walking towards was still in effect. And it is. And it just has a whole other level to it, because when I think about my goals, I now have another fold, not of, to be able to care for my child, because I know I'm always going to be able to care for her. I'm going to give her the life that she deserves, but I want her to learn from what I'm doing. So I feel like I have a whole, like, I want her to watch me when she's young, and the faster I get toward to my vision and I'm walking in it, the more she'll know as she's getting older. So I'm just like, I have a whole nother urgency to not hurry up and get there, but just be very intentional and dedicated and move forward, so that when she is of the age where she'll be watching me, I'll be more disciplined, I'll be more structured, I'll be, more intentional in what I'm doing and what she's seeing.
Yeah. I feel like having children do that for us because it gives us a better perspective on why purpose matters and why living in purpose is so important, because it gives them a vision as well and gives them a path to follow, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And I've got a lot of things to teach. I used to say, as I learn, I teach. And that's honestly how I became a coach in general. I just wanted to teach people what I was learning. And now I have a whole human being that gets to learn from what I do. Whether she wants to be a businesswoman or not, like, I don't care about that, but I want her to have the skills to be savvy, to print her own money when she needs it, that kind of stuff.
I love that. Print your own money.
Yes, that's what entrepreneurs can do. You want to make a $500 this weekend? You
Right.
have the skills. You have marketable skills, so you can print your own money.
Yeah, no one puts a pay amount on you. You choose the amount that you get paid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, you mentioned that you had a vision prior to having, what's your daughter's name?
Keziah.
Keziah. That's biblical,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yes, it's Job's daughter's name
Yeah.
after he went through his transformation.
I was just reading that last chapter of Job today, and I
Yeah.
read that's how come I picked up on it. I was like, I saw that just earlier.
I have to give credit where credit is due. I didn't I've read that chat like everybody knows that story, right? But I would have never like saw that name, and I don't think I would have saw that name and jumped on it. But it was actually a podcast interview with Fantasia, the singer. Her daughter's name is Keziah, and she was sharing why she named her daughter Keziah, and she talked about the story of Job, and it had a lot to the significance of the story was for the podcast interview. I don't know if you saw the one that it went viral about a year ago, and I saw the podcast interview, and it was like irritatingly like stuck to me the name, and I was just like, this was before I knew I was having a daughter. So I didn't know if I was having a daughter or a son. And it was just like, yeah, Keziah, that's my name's Stephanie. It's so like American ish, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't know if I can say all that, what I really want to say on podcast. But but Keziah, I was like, that might be too unique, right? You know, I got criticized by my family for it. But when when I heard it, I couldn't let it go. I tried to. I tried to find names for it all over the place. So I really do believe that even her name, and I won't go into it too deep, but there's so much significance because then I started researching what the name meant in different it's wild, but um yeah, her name's Keziah.
Okay.
And
So
she
I
has
didn't even know all of that when I asked the question because I was literally just saying, I wanted to say, so before you
yes.
had Keziah, you had a vision and you was trying to figure out if it's the same vision you have now moving forward. What was that vision? Can you share with us?
So the vision I was referring to was something that I saw before I even launched Catch Flights in Fitness, the first coaching program in a way like I was coaching before, but it's the coaching program in a way that I teach it now. It was more quote unquote professional. And I was doing a guided visualization with a fitness coach that I worked with. That she was my fitness coach, and she we were actually in a mindset coaching session and a business coaching mastermind. She was also my fitness coach. So sorry, it was a little tangent, but but there's a reason why we were doing it in a business space, and I saw a glimpse of something that didn't make sense back then, but years later it started to make sense and I started to get clues. I actually saw like so it was a stage. I was on stage with my business besties, and they were my business besties at the time. Now I understand it to be no, you're just there with your business besties, period, because they changed over the years, but now I see myself on this stage, and I own the stage like it was my conference. um and I couldn't tell you what the conference was called or what we were talking about or anything like that, but back then I had never been to a business conference. I recognized it as a stage, but I had no context, no like I didn't know what it was. I tried to describe it to the coach at the time, and she recognized it and kept, because she was one of the people on the stage with me. So she was like, "Tell me more. What else do you see?" And I was like, "I don't see anything else, and it's kind of freaking me out. So I don't want to talk about it anymore." But now I've seen the stage. Have you been to ROI, the Millionaire Summit? or heard of
I've
it?
been to a few summits, but I don't know if it's been ROI.
So it's with Hello Seven. It's a business coaching company, and I went to their summit, and when I saw the stage, that was the stage. So for a while I thought, oh well, I'm supposed to speak at ROI, but it, honestly, my vision, what I believe, I'm supposed to bring a mass amount of people together to show them how to monetize their purpose and be able to walk in it confidently, spreading their gold, but also earning, that energy exchange, which is being given back their time and making money from what they're passionate about and what they're supposed to be doing for the world.
That's awesome because I want the listeners to stay tuned because towards the end of this, Stephanie is going to share with us 4 things that you can do if you're living in purpose to actually monetize that purpose. So that is to come. So let's keep going. Okay. But I wanted to talk to you also about I know that we have people that listen to this podcast that might have gone through some of the things you've shared on your stories, right? Now, when it comes to your child's father, how, what has that experience? I'm not going to share it. You can share it. But what has that experience gone? What has that experience done for you? What have you learned from that? What's like a takeaway that you can inspire the listeners that may be going through such things right now that they can, use to help their journey?
That's a loaded question.
I do those a lot.
um, what has my experience been and what happened between us that can help the listeners? There we go again with the part of the share me sharing the authenticity parts of my life, and or the authentic parts of my life while I'm still healing from it. But I mean, it's something obviously I've shared over and over again. So that that relationship held held me down through very, I want to say, traumatic periods of life, but they were really like the healing parts of life. It's just, when you're going through a healing journey, it's not always glamorous. It actually hurts a lot if you're doing it right. Um, but I had to leave. I had to up and leave. Um, when I left, after 4 years, I found out I was pregnant after I left. And it was easy-ish to leave before I knew I was pregnant. So I'm glad that I didn't know, because I'm not sure I would have. I tried to even go back and try to mend the relationship that was over, but it was over, and it became blaringly clear. Man, there's so many things that I've learned from leaving. That's a 4-step journey right there. I feel like I could give multiple things. I'm over here trying to think of which one would be the best one, but without going too deep, I would say the resiliency, um, the faith, and the clarity. So being resilient, that you are as strong as you want to be. You
Mm.
can, you can do all things. I used to say this to my fitness coaching clients who were Christian as well. I used to tell them, I'm like, I thought you could do all things through Christ that strengthens you, and they'd be like, shut up, Stephanie. Because they don't want to work out, they don't want to meal play, but what you talk about, you can't do it. So that's that's another, like, what made me leave my I had manifested the townhome we lived in. It was beautiful, it was so nice, it was massive. It would have been perfect for a family, right? But I had to leave before our rent was up, like before the lease was up, paying rent for a house I wasn't living in. um but the knowing that I was going to be cared for, and this is a part of the clarity I want to speak on. um when I was making the decision to leave, technically the second time, I prayed and I asked God for a, if anybody's ever read Tabitha Brown's book, she like hears God give her a sign, but she like hears him. And I was like, I need one of those Tabitha Brown level clarities. I need you to talk to me and talk to me in a booming voice. So God has never straight up talked to me though. He hasn't like, he doesn't do the blaring voice. He has things happen where it's like, okay, God, that was real loud. You didn't have to go that loud. Like that was too much. And that's what he did and showed me, no, you need to go and you need to go now. And I was at the time 5 months pregnant, and I moved my stuff, packed up a U-Haul van and moved it from Denver to Jersey and got my own place, and lived out the rest of my pregnancy in South Jersey where I'm from. And it was tough, it was hard, but I know that I was supposed to come here, and it's become so obvious more and more and more because, man, I wish I could tell you all the things, but might have to do a second podcast interview because the like signs along the way, you need them. And I just asked for them. I'm like, can you give me another one? I'm starting to stutter step right now. Can I get another one? And I forget what the other thing that I said I added on, but I do want to touch on the my gratitude practice. I wouldn't be here today if I wasn't so friggin' grateful for all of the things that I already have. Forget the things that are going to be coming my way in the future. I believe it 100%. But I'm even grateful for, how my ex treated me, because if he didn't treat me the way that the way that he did, I don't think that I'd be this close in my faith, or this like close to God. I probably was on like a 10-year journey. I never really looked at the time, but I'm gonna say it's been 10 years that I was like separated. Like I wasn't really, I'd actually never talked about this to anybody out loud. And it's difficult to admit, but when I left, I went all in. I was like, "Yep, I'm not doing this life right. Something's up. I need assistance." And gratitude was a big part. I had to be grateful for even like the bad stuff that had happened to me, um, because it brought me to where I am. It gave me my daughter. I wouldn't have had this beautiful apartment that I have now. I wouldn't have known how much like my mom loves me and could love, my daughter. Like it's just, I wouldn't have known that I could fund my own maternity leave with just my list, not even leveraging ads like I'm known for. That I can create whatever I want to create whenever I want to create it.
Yeah. Well, I got a lot from just that. I think the main thing that what you're saying is someone is going through these things, prayer is the first step. Pray, connect with God, ask Him for signs that you can see, signs that clarify the
Mm-hmm.
steps that He wants you to take. And
Mm-hmm.
then don't question when He says it. Move forward in what He says, because in by doing so, you will end up in a place where you actually are meant to be, which is where you are.
Yeah, I like that. Thank you. That was a great summary. Is
But
it? I'm gonna write that down.
you can watch the replay.
Yeah, like that's good. I said that. That's good. I don't. But it's true. It's true. 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, I think, and it's real because those are the same exact things that I did when I was dealing with my situation.
Mm.
I also left, and I didn't just move to Jersey. I left to another state. I moved to Florida. And I was there with my son. He was a year old at the time. And I needed to hear God's voice. And he told me, he said, "You need to heal. So you can't heal here. You have to leave."
Mm.
And that's what I did. I left. It wasn't easy, but we all have our own journey that brings us closer to God. And it seems that this journey actually impacted you to go and get closer to Him. So that is purpose in and of itself, because anything that brings us closer to where He desires us to be, not our will, Lord, but your will be done. Whatever
Yes.
that is where He's taken us. And once we're following His direction over our direction, then we're living in alignment and in purpose to where He wants us to go.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was a journey. I'm still learning it. I'm still asking that same question, that same request, and I would love to encourage others to not feel like you can't keep asking, you
Yeah.
know?
Keep asking until you're clear, like you said, until you've gotten clarity
Hmm.
to understand what is He's saying to you. Don't just move blindly.
Hmm.
Move with intention. So were you always a Christian? I know you said you were out of alignment for 10 years, but before that you were a Christian, or how did that
Yeah.
happen?
So if you hear my dog, he's in the background. He just ran under or ran out of the desk. But I was a Christian since the little kids in Awana grew up in the church. Even once I went off to college, I found my church home, and I went to school in Miami. I loved that church there, but then I what I feel happened, I was challenged to find a journey outside of the church because I had lived in like a desolate place. I lived in a desert for 6 years with because of the job that I had, and there was no churches where I feel like I had grown past the type of churches that were there. Um but I didn't keep up what I knew I could do for myself. Um, Not that I would say went to the world or went to the streets or whatever, nothing like that. But I wasn't seeking His guidance
Yeah.
to make decisions in my life. That's what I feel like the season that I'm in now is. Oh wait, I got a whole hat. I don't need to ask friends, family, mentors, or anything like that for guidance. Yeah, he's the only one that I want. If I get it from, which is usually what happens for me, I get it from someone else's mouth. But like a question that I was asking most recently, I was at brunch yesterday, and I couldn't even I don't know how we even got into this subject, but I was so in tune to talking to this one lady, and somehow she like spoke right to me about a business decision that I was making. And I was like, "Do you know you just answered something that I've been asking and praying about for 2 weeks?" And I was like, I was getting ready to ask a friend who sometimes I ask, but I didn't want to ask her. I wanted it to be one of, you wake up in the middle of the night and you hear God. I'll never get that. But I'll be like, that's what I want. I want to know that it's you. But
Yeah.
as soon as she said it, I was like, I hear you. I hear you. I'll
You
stop.
knew. You knew that's how He was speaking to you.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
and He does that all the time. He used Moses and Aaron to speak what He needed them to say to Pharaoh to let his children go. So He speaks through others. And if you are keen to His voice, you will hear it. When you hear it, you'll know it's Him.
yes, yes. I don't know why I want like I don't know. Maybe because you're gonna hear it on my Instagram story as soon as it happened, I'll be like, guess what?
Yeah. No,
But
no.
I
I've
needed
I've
I
heard
relate.
His voice, so I know it can happen. I know it can happen, and I think it's when He has ever done that for me, it's because I was really in a space where there was nothing around me that I was going to be able to hear something that He had to say to me from someone else. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I was in
Yeah.
those spaces where there was no one around me that he could tell me what he needed me to hear, because I have heard him, and there was two specific times where it was audible, like I heard him in here, but I knew
Mm,
it wasn't my voice, I knew it was his. And
mhm.
yeah, so it does happen.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
but
like, can I
you're
get
probably
one?
connected enough
I'm
that you
right.
don't need that.
Pass out. I'm not even gonna lie. He's like, you're not ready. You're not ready.
Right? You never know. He has a purpose in everything. So who knows? But I know from watching you, you have a lot of personality. You do.
Well, yeah.
And it's they're all, draws people in, right? So what is the one personality trait that you have that you think aligns so well with your purpose?
There's two, and I'm bouncing. The first one that popped up was resiliency. It's been, I don't want it to be my word, but it's been like my word for the past year. I want to say maybe a little over a year, where I've noticed it about myself. I mean, I knew it, but I would actually call it intrinsic motivation, where, if I have a goal, if I have something I really want to do, I'm going to go after it no matter what. And another, so I'm in a space with a lot of fitness coaches because that's what I used to do, and I still have my fitness brand. um and a fitness coach actually told me, her name's Stefanie Julia, she actually told me that that was something that she admired in me, was that I, my resiliency. She said it in a different way, but it was just like the fact that I'll get it done. um and when she told it to me was when I really noticed, oh, I've always been like this. Not because, something bad happened to me and I had to overcome it. No, I'm just like, stuff just happens, especially as an entrepreneur. My gosh. Like the time I was trying to fund my maternity leave right before I had Keziah, and I was getting clients, but I was really discouraged. I wanted to give up so many times, to the point where a lot of my friends were like, Stephanie, get off my line, because if you get one more client, one more like VIP day client, and then tell me you want to quit the business because it's too hard, I don't feel like doing it no more. I don't want to ask nobody. I don't want to talk to anyone. They would be like, it sounds like hormones. Like, get out of my face. But I still like it, it was just, it's always like that. And I can tell, I'm about to go off on a tangent, but resiliency is something that I really love about myself, and I think it works well with what I do,
Yeah.
because entrepreneurship isn't for the faint of heart. Like, it's not easy, and you need to have that go-getter attitude that's going to do walk towards that vision, walk in your purpose, right? And not give up,
Yeah.
because that's the only way that you lose, is when you give up.
Yeah.
The other part that I'm big on, and I even try to teach, but it might just be my personality trait. It's reality checks that I'm starting to learn. Is community. I think that we can only grow in community. And if the community is really growing, then it also adds like a kind of a competition phase, but in a healthy way. Like, I believe in healthy competition, where we challenge each other to be greater. We teach each other how we're being greater. And that, to me, is what a real community would do. And so I like to create communities.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. I love the fact that you said resilience, because I feel like that is something that we have in common, being resilient. And like you said, it's not something that you can just put on at a crisis. It's something that is embedded in you, I think, from birth,
Yeah.
from birth. Ah, wow. I know that you mentioned that you had to fund your maternity leave. Were you working when you was going on maternity and you wanted to stay home longer? How is that playing out?
So I knew before I left for maternity leave, I wanted to have at least 3 months off where I didn't do nothing. I didn't want to have to worry about bills, both in my business or personal. I didn't want to have to take sales calls or anything like that. Um, and I wanted to like focus on my baby and
Yeah.
whatever has to happen in 3 months because I didn't know. Let me tell y'all something. I wasn't around babies. I wasn't around children. I was rich auntie from FaceTime. Like I had never changed a diaper until I changed my baby's diaper in the hospital, and I did it apparently. Oh my gosh, I did it wrong, and I had to, and I was by myself because I wouldn't do it when the nurses were around. I didn't want anybody to like know I couldn't do it, so I like watched them do it, and then I tried to do it, and it was so wrong. So I called the nurse in to come change
Oh,
me, and I was like, okay, I really don't know how to do this. Can you teach me how to do this? She was so nice though. But yeah, like I didn't know what I was doing. So I didn't know what to expect. So I wanted all the space that I needed to figure it out without worrying about clients or anything like that, or getting clients. Um, so I knew I needed at least 3 months of expenses, both personal and business. And I had a whole plan. Talking about, oh my gosh, I had a whole plan that started in January. And I had her in June. It was a 3 month long plan. I had started the plan, like crafting a plan in January. It launched in February. The beginning of April was when it ended. So, you will not see me teach this. The beginning of April, it ended, and it flopped. So I was in crisis mode by middle of April, like freaking out. But I had this offer that I was selling silently. No one really knew about it unless you got on a call with me and I felt the vibe and I pitched it to you. And it was selling like hotcakes. Anytime I told it to, they wanted it. And still to this day, everybody I talked to about this offer, they want it. Um, but I couldn't even, I don't even remember why I wasn't talking about it. I want to say, I prepared my content. I had all this plan. That other thing wasn't part of the plan, but it was the solution. It was the solution. And so I started talking about it more openly and funded my maternity leave in a month. Where I thought, I was going to do it over time, put money aside, all that stuff. No, that thing got like, and it solved the problem even with the clients, that the one-to-one clients that I had too. They wanted that. It was my VIP day. They wanted the VIP day, which allowed me to pull out of our contract and give them everything that they needed in 2 days.
in 2 days. So
Mhm.
this is one of your systems that you have developed that I see you promoting online.
Yeah, so I took a program that I was teaching. So I went the other way. Right before I found out I was pregnant, like literally 2 weeks before, I had launched a year long one-to-one coaching program. It's like I had clients enrolling, and then I found out I was pregnant, and I was like, "What? You have no idea the anger that I had with God when I found out I was pregnant. I had just left that relationship that I knew I wasn't supposed to be in. I was like, did what? I finally did the thing, and I know I'm not supposed to be in this. What are you doing?
Yeah.
But yeah, I had great clients in the program. They didn't. I don't want to say they didn't care, but they weren't concerned. They knew I was going to take care of them. So I had two main courses that are both 8 weeks long. One of them 6 weeks. Let me not. One 6 weeks, one 8 weeks, and I took them and I created a 12-month program based off of those. I went the wrong way is basically. So instead now I took the courses and I do them now in 2 days. So we just get the whole thing done and launch your client attraction system, so how you're bringing in clients into your energy and how they're coming becoming clients. So like your marketing and sales system, and then we put that thing on autopilot, okay? Cuz we don't need to be in our business all the time. So all of the systems that you need, the landing from the funnel pages to your ads, all of that, we get it done in 2 days. And I most of the people that I work with, well, it's like 50-50. Some don't have social media, period. Like they're starting from scratch. And others are fine tuning their messaging, fine tuning their offer, and starting to run ads for the first time. So I've worked with a range of people at this point, but it solved the problem that I wasn't going to be able to coach them, for a long period of time. I needed something where we could get everything done system wise in 2 days, and then, have voice memo coaching after the fact.
That sounds amazing. 2 days? I'm still stuck on 2 days.
It was a concept at first, and a couple of my friends were like, "What? First off, why are you doing a 2-day VIP? Like, that's too much." Like, a lot of people still say, "Stephanie, you're giving away too much," and I'm like, "No, I'm tired." One of my pet peeves is I have two pet peeves. One, coaches that teach you how to launch, but not how to make that launch sustainable. Number two, that they'll call themselves a business coach, but they're not actually showing you how to make money. Like
Yeah,
what kind of coach are you then? If you're how do you a business coach and you're not teaching your clients like how to bring in more clients?
right. Uh,
Don't
wow.
get me started.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, just go follow her. She has so much insights in this whole thing. So, what advice would you offer to women who feel called to start their own business and pursue the vision that they have for their life?
So this is where I would give you my 4 steps, because I want you to, first off, I want you to know that whatever you have in your heart and your passion, your purpose, that you weren't given it unless it was meant to take care of you. So you can monetize your passion and your purpose, and you're going to want to do it for free. That's kind of a clue that you are walking on the right path, is that you would do this for free. You probably already are, right? You're probably already doing it for friends, family, uh, but probably colleagues that would be clients if you actually like charge them. That's your clue. But I want to give you some tools that you can implement today. So I mentioned it earlier about creating community. It doesn't have to be a Facebook group. Oh my gosh, I have to debunk this right away because I hear somebody saying, as soon as I say community, they be like, I don't want to do Facebook. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I have to touch Facebook, right? Then it's okay. I have clients who have created their community on WhatsApp, Telegram. There's one that I love, and she calls them Zoom parties. Well, she doesn't call that. I call it that. But it's basically like a Zoom session. I'm actually creating an in-person community through brunches, business brunches. So like you can create community anywhere. It's just a place that your ideal clients will gather and that you're going to run, right? Like you can be in someone else's community, but you want to run it. You want to have control. And I'll give a little training about this that allows you to see how do you monetize that community, because that's really important, knowing how to monetize it. But then once you have the community and the monetization set up, then you want to talk to your community members. I know. People are like, wait a minute, so how do I book calls? You have conversations and get to know them. Find out, what are their goals? What are their passions? Where are they trying to, what are they struggling with? So for instance, with the life coaches that, or I should say, I'm going to say that, give the example of the fitness coaches. Um, they're asking about their fitness goals, right? Life coaches, depending on what your niche is, if your zhuzh is self love, like you can ask them what their challenges are in boundaries, or how they're what are they struggling with when it comes to loving themselves and prioritizing themselves, and then position yourself as an authority. Share a tip, share a strategy, share training. If you're doing, like, this podcast could absolutely be a training that you could share with your community to show, hey, I do this. Like, this is what I do. This is how I help people. And literally after that, I know it's only, I don't even think I went through 4 questions maybe. You ask to work with them. It's really that simple. My clients are booking calls left and right by this simple DM flow, where, and I'll give it to you. I'm trying to remember because I usually copy paste it from like this prompt that I go through. I'm see if I can remember it. I am as you know, this is what I do. I help fitness coaches grow online communities and attract clients on autopilot. Would you like to get on a 10 to 15-minute call to see if working together is a good fit? And they're like, yeah, you literally are doing what I need help with. And then you're booking calls. Now, that's step number 2. Step number 3 is putting that on autopilot. Okay. Welcoming in sales on repeat. What that looks like is, when you get on too many calls, what do you need to do? I have freeze. What do you need to do? You need to host what I call a group sales call. And those are like workshops, webinars, summits, where you can bring a bunch of people together and pitch them your offer instead of on one-to-one sales calls. So I hope that was of value. Actually, that was 4 steps. So sorry.
Oh, definitely. Wow. I I got a lot of takeaways just from that alone. Um, I'm very interested in your, I guess you expounding a little bit more on the brunches. Um, how do you do the brunches? How can anyone be a part of that?
Oh, to join the, so it's Manifest and Mimosas. We get together once a month and we go over our goals. It's usually on like an angel number, like in January was January 11th, 111, or on the new
February
moon. Like,
22nd.
it's something to like play off of, right? But basically we're setting goals. And then what is really important when you're trying to manifest and when you're trying to put something out there to create, you need to have action steps behind it. So before we leave brunch, you're identifying what action steps you need to have in order to reach the goal that you want. It's run by me, and I talk about client attraction systems, and my friend Sierra Saria. I always do that to her name, poor thing. Saria Woodrit. She's a business coach, but she teaches how to align how to be in alignment with your goals and with your vision for your future, for your business and personal life. So we run that together every month. Right now, we're just in Philly, but I'm talking to someone in DC. And then obviously, I love traveling. So we'll be in Chicago, Denver soon, Atlanta. So stay tuned for more on that. And if you guys DM me on Instagram, I can add you to our WhatsApp community.
So I did see your email to come and I wanted to so bad. But I don't know if you know, I'm Adventist, so I go to church on Saturday. So I wasn't able to come.
There's going to be, we're switching it up. So
Oh,
stay
you
tuned.
are?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, I will keep looking
Trying to
out.
do Saturdays, Sundays, and then when we're traveling, it might be on off days as well.
Okay,
Yeah, I
I
try to
might
spread
be
the
showing up. I might be.
wealth.
You
I'll
know.
let you know. I'll keep you posted. I'll keep you posted.
So as we're wrapping up, I see the time and I'm like, all right, this thing went by so quickly. All right, so I have just the last two questions for you. How do you see yourself walking in your purpose now?
So it's funny that you're asking me now. Yesterday, or no, the last 2 weeks, when I said that I was questioning some things, I was questioning my purpose. I was questioning my vision again, or
Mm.
at least the not my vision that I described, but the way that I'm going to get there, like the path that I'm on. I'm like, is this a time to pivot or keep going? And there's nothing wrong. That's the wild part, and that's why even telling my friends about it, they were just like, "Stephanie, get out my face," because I just had these other ideas. I was like, "Oh, I could do this or I could do that," and I'm really good at throwing grenades and ruining things that are going well. So I, wanted to ask and make sure that what I was doing was correct. And I got, confirmation after confirmation that to stay the course, but I kept asking, but are you sure? Are you sure this is a really good idea? Are you sure? And so when you asked me that, I was like, wow. A couple days ago, I probably would have had a whole nother way of answering this. But how I see myself walking in my purpose now is with cocky confidence that um it might get tough sometimes. The waters might get tough. I really do believe that I am meant to show people how to monetize their purpose. And I've said it so much. I truly believe it, but it's like ingrained in my spirit now. So much so that I don't believe there's a lot of things that I've said, like, why is that one ingrained in my spirit? So um I'm writing writing things down in my space so that I don't forget, that I don't falter again, that I don't question it the way that I was questioning the past 2 weeks. But that's how I see myself walking in my purpose, is with cocky confidence that I'm going to be taken care of all along the way.
Nice. Cocky confidence. You just have a way with words.
That one just came out. I don't know what I don't know where I got it from either.
It's real.
It is
Um,
real.
so my final question, I don't usually ask this question, but I really wanted to ask you this on camera
Oh Lord.
because um, I guess I look at you on social and you're just so amazing. You're so out there. You're like, you are inspiring to me,
Thank you.
when I see you, because I want to be more like doing what you're doing on a consistent basis, because I've been going through a lot this past almost year and a half. So I've kind of fallen back a little bit, and I see you out there doing what you're doing, and then you were literally the first person when I posted I need guests to join my podcast. You were one of the first persons that reached out to me, literally. So I wanted to ask you, what made you decide to come on Living Purposely on Purpose?
Ooh, I so it was your message. Even the title of the podcast, living on purpose, or no, living purposely on purpose, because so I say, I want to monetize, I want to help you monetize your purpose. Anytime that I hear that kind of message, it's like a magnet. Um and I love sharing my stories. Like, I have a lot. Like, even today, I felt like I was jumping over myself because I'm trying to pick which one would be, like, which one should I share that's going to be received the most, where someone gets blessed, with someone gets their nugget that they needed. I'm really addicted to seeing other people win. So I want to share how I've gotten to my wins as much as possible and as widely as possible.
Yeah.
So it was a mixture of your message and one being a black woman like that's doing their thing. Like I'm how can I support? How can I help your podcast get pushed out there even more?
Yeah. I think that's your spirit that I admire and I gravitate to. And I know that our schedule kept missing, and I'm just so appreciated that we made time to be here today. I feel so blessed, and I feel like your message, everyone that listens to this pod will gain so much from it. And I have to say, I had at least 10 more questions for you, so you have to come back.
I gladly. I know it. I know it because I was like, Stephanie, stop talking. Stop talking so much. Get to the point. Get to the
No, no,
point.
no, you were great. No, no, no. I never want to say stop or get to the point
No,
because
I want to make sure that and y'all let us know. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or need some clarity. I'm here. I'm here to be of service. Really.
yeah, I had so much more questions for your business and just so much things that I pulled that I wanted to ask you that we didn't even get to. So I
We got
will be reaching out to you. We will need to set a part two. But before you go, is there anything that you want to share with the audience right now? How they can connect with you or anything you have going on that they can, be a part of?
Yes. So my DMs are always open. On Instagram, you can find me at the Stefanie Julia. My name's spelled just like that here with an F. And I would love to give a gift to the audience. I went through my 4 steps kind of quickly, but I have a training that when you come into my community, you'll get a training that's already recorded. You can just watch the video that talks about how to go through those steps, but then also automate it as well. One of the ways to automate, and this training talks about communities, but there's so many different ways to automate your client attraction system. You just need to go to thevipcoaches.com/FB. Yes, it's going to talk about a Facebook group, but I promise there's so many other ways, and I can't wait to teach the in-person events that I'm working on myself. Um, and then if you have any questions, just DM me. I am an open book. I love coaching. I love sharing my value with folks. So ask anything. And
Awesome.
thank you so much for this. I am so grateful to be in this space with you.
Thank you, Stephanie. And I will drop that email. It's an email or a website.
A website.
I'll
Awesome.
drop that website in the description so they can find you. Okay.
Okay, great. Yep,
All
great.
right. Thank you. Have a
Thank
great day. Bye.
you too.
I know you guys gained a lot from that. I'm so blessed to have so many amazing women that have joined the podcast and shared their story. I do want some men to get on, so I am putting out this right now. If you are a man and you have a story of how you have been living in purpose, I can't wait to, shine a light on your story with my audience so that they can see that men and women are walking and living in their purpose. So I hope to have a few men join the pod in a few weeks, and so you guys can hear their stories out as well. But until then, please, reach out to Stephanie, follow her page, see what she's going on with. If you are someone in business and you are looking for an amazing business coach, Stephanie is an amazing business coach. I watch her on social all the time. I'm inspired by her. So, please reach out to her. I will drop her information. If you're listening on the audio versions, it will be in the description. And if you're listening on, YouTube, you can also see her name and everything, and I'll also have it in the description as well. So until next time, I want you guys to continue to live purposely on purpose. Have a great day, guys.